What's up fellow hunters, Nox here. Welcome or welcome back. Today we're gonna talk Switchaxe. Comfortable sets, fun sets, meta sets. 7 builds for you guys and some tips on how to adjust them for yourself coming up. One important thing before we jump in. Don't get discouraged by my talismans if you don't have a similar one. I'll show some easy to get talismans for each build that will get you all the essential skills. Let's go. We're gonna start off with one of my favorites, the Devil's Razor 2.0. An incredibly useful paralysis Switchaxe build. I absolutely love this for farming afflicted monster parts. All you need is one of the talisman examples on screen to get all of the essential skills with minimal loss. My talisman just has some lucky bonuses. We can choose between 2 different weapons here, the Volvadan and the Feline Switchaxe. They have 330 and 340 attack with 22 and 30 paralysis. The obvious difference here is that the Feline will do slightly more damage due to the higher raw and the power file. But the Volvadan will actually deal a bit more paralysis because it has an element file. This significantly boosts the paralysis output when the weapon is in amped state. I personally use both, so just pick whichever you like better. To increase our damage, we have maxed out attack boost, weakness exploit, rapid morph, and a level of chain crit. To go with our weapons, we have paralysis attack level 3, which greatly increases our paralysis output. To add extra smoothness to the Switchaxe, we have Evade Extender to increase our mobility, and Power Prolonger to extend the time our weapon stays in amped state. On top of that, we have super comfortable sharpness management thanks to Protective Polish level 3 along with speed sharpening. This makes maintaining our sharpness a walk in the park. But keep in mind, speed sharpening is not necessary and can be replaced with anything else you like. We also get a free level of part breaker from the headpiece, which is a nice bonus, especially for farming afflicted monster parts. And another bonus is Wirebug Whisperer, which even at level 1 has great value, allowing us to keep wirebugs we find around the map for 30% longer. This build will dish out high damage while at the same time being able to paralyze anything you fight multiple times. This is tons of fun to use and your fellow hunters will appreciate all the free damage windows you create and stopping some of the more jumpy monsters that move all over the place 24/7. Let's take a quick second to address Rampage slots. All of the weapons in the video will come with at least a level 2 Rampage slot, and the same rule applies for all of them. The most efficient choice we can make right now is using one of the anti-species decorations. You can tell by the color which ones I'm using, but you should always adjust these according to what you're fighting. Next, we have the Annihilator, a highly customizable heavy-hitting build. Weapon of choice is the Teostra Switchaxe. 330 attack, natural purple sharpness, huge 52 blast, and a level 2 slot. Our base damage increasing skills will largely remain the same to give us the best results. The big difference here is that we have Agitator level 5. This gives us an extra 20 attack and 15% affinity whenever monsters get enraged. And in Master Rank, monsters do that a lot. All the previous comfort skills like Evade Extender and Power Prolonger are intact as well. And we again have max Protective Polish to keep our sharpness at purple for a full 90 seconds. We're not adding blast attack because the value we get from it is actually not that great. Cool thing here is that we're using a bunch of attack decorations, which makes this super flexible. If you're missing a slot or want to switch things up, like for example add evade window or more power prolonger, go ahead, no problem. I'm using the same talisman as before, but this build is so flexible that even just 2 level 2 slots will get you all the essential skills with only dropping some attack boost. Our second weapon option here is the Chameleon Switchaxe. Very similar to the Teostra one, it comes with good raw, natural purple, and good slots. So if you like poison, this is the perfect build for it. Gold standard. A lot of players really enjoy using exhaust file Switchaxes, so I of course added a build for that as well. We're using the Reconquest from the Ore Tree. 340 attack, purple sharpness with 1 level of handicraft, 30 defense bonus, and 50 exhaust thanks to our skills. Similar to the Annihilator, we get all the base damage increasing skills, plus some Agitator on top. But since we want to exhaust and KO monsters, we have a level 3 Stamina Thief and level 2 Slugger. This will make it super easy to exhaust monsters and also allows us to KO them quite easily if we target the head. I chose to go for only 1 level of Power Prolonger here, but if you prefer having more, just drop some attack boost. All the previous comfort and sharpness management skills are intact as well. This will make sure we can really stay in the fight and on the monster to get those exhausts and KOs. A talisman with Evade Extender level 2 and 2 level 2 slots would of course be ideal, but the examples I showed earlier will get you all the essentials with only minimal loss of attack boost here as well. And of course our second weapon option here is the good old Tigrex Switchaxe. Just be aware that you won't need the extra level of handicraft if you use this, so you can drop that and add in whatever you like. Now we move on to the elemental builds, starting with the Sea of Flames. The name represents both water and fire, because they share the same build template. The weapons we're using are from the regular and Magma Almudron. Both have 320 attack, purple sharpness with 3 levels of handicraft, insanely high element and good slots. This build will hit like an absolute truck. I highlighted the element attack for this one in green because this can be changed to any element you want it to be. All of the elemental builds will come with 5 levels of their own element, as it will give us a really nice damage boost, especially on the builds that use elemental file switch axes. Outside of that, we have level 4 attack boost for a nice raw damage increase. And this time around we have maxed out Wirebug Whisperer, which of course adds extra smoothness to any playstyle, as well as extra damage since we get to use all the Wirebug moves more frequently. Of course we also have max protective polish, rapid morph and a comfortable amount of power prolonger. Another cool thing about this build is that you don't have to go for the stun resistance, it's completely optional. That means you have an entire level 4 slot to use however you like. This also means that we could make this with a Talisman that only has 2 level 2 slots. Simply put a Jumping Jewel 4 into the level 4 slot. For the second weapon options we have 2 Powerfull Switchaxes, the Daimyo and the Rathalos. Both very good and capable of matching the other 2 Switchaxes, or even out-damaging them depending on your playstyle and your target. The Daimyo Switchaxe can be used with a build without any changes. The Rathalos however doesn't need handicraft at all. So we can drop that completely and max out attack boost or add more power prolonger, which is really nice. By the way, builds with special skills like Dereliction and Bloodrite will get their own video, so stay tuned for that if you want to see some really crazy and fun builds. Next we have Ice, Cold Steel 2.0. We're using the Kushala Switchaxe. 320 attack, natural purple sharpness, 58 ice, a level 1 slot and a power file. We of course have maxed out ice attack and level 5 attack boost for a nice damage increase. The big difference with this one is that we have level 3 chain crit for even more damage, and level 3 power prolonger, which is a nice bonus especially for Powerfull Switchaxes. The hard steadfast decoration can again be exchanged for anything else you might want or need. A Talisman with Evade Extender and level 2 slots would again be the ideal choice, but having that flexible level 4 slot means that you can get all the essentials with just 2 level 2 slots. Our second weapon option here is where things get very interesting. Quite obviously, Lunagaron is a great second option. However, the real surprise here is the Lagombi Switchaxe. The rabbit made it all the way to the top and I'm happy for him. Good job, Lagombi. This thing is absolutely phenomenal if you prefer an elemental file over a power file. Same raw as Lunagaron, 50% more ice and way better slots. It does need 3 levels of handicraft to reach purple sharpness, which is no problem because that means it's the perfect fit for the Sea of Flames build. So just use it with that and enjoy this absolute underdog of a Switchaxe. Next in line is our Thunder build, Stormlight. Pretty sure the first weapon option surprises nobody because the Narwa Switchaxe is insane. 310 attack, purple sharpness with 1 level of handicraft and 74 thunder. This build will dish out crazy damage to anything weak to thunder. The armor pieces we're using are the exact same we used for the Cold Steel build, but the decoration and skill setup is a bit different here. We have all our damage essentials and comfort skills intact, but we lose 1 level of attack boost to make room for handicraft so we can reach purple sharpness. I prefer having full stun resistance over power prolonger level 3 for this build, because some of the monsters weak to thunder can get you stunned quite easily, but you can of course change this if you like. You can even get all the essential skills for this build with a Talisman that just has 2 level 2 slots. In that case, just replace the hard steadfast with a Jumping Jewel 4. Our second thunder option is the Zenogre Switchaxe. A lot like the second weapon options we saw for water and fire, this is so good that it can outdamage the first option depending on your playstyle and the target monster. When using the Zenogre Switchaxe, simply run it with a Cold Steel build since it does not require any additional levels of handicraft. Just exchange all the ice for thunder decorations. You can use the free level 1 slots for whatever you like. Now we have the dragon build, the Nightmare. We're using the Calamitous Axe. 330 attack, purple sharpness with 3 levels of handicraft, 60 dragon and 2 level 2 slots. This build is absolutely stacked. Max attack boost, dragon attack and all other damage essentials maxed out. We of course have protective polish level 3 here as well, just like all the other builds. We also get level 3 Wirebug Whisperer here, which just adds even more smoothness to our playstyle and higher damage potential. The stun resistance can again be exchanged for anything else you might want or need. Aside from that, we also get recovery speed level 3 as well as full blight resistance as a bonus, which is nice. Like the name of the build implies, this will be an absolute nightmare for any monster weak to dragon. Thanks to a bunch of flexible decorations in the build, you can get all of the essential skills with a Talisman that just has 2 level 2 slots. The second dragon option is of course Valstrax. This thing has great stats across the board and a nice level 3 slot. Due to its massive white sharpness, we don't need any sharpness management skills. The best way to use this is with a cold steel build and switching the legs to Malzeno. Then just fill the remaining slots with attack decorations or anything else you like. A lot more build videos are on the way, so make sure you stay tuned. Thanks for watching, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.